What if Toy Story had a baby with Platoon? Well, you'd get Small Soldiers, the most batshit insane kids movie of the 90s that was secretly a warning about our future.
You suck, you jackass!
Howdy, and thanks for clicking on this video to see what this jackass has to say. I appreciate you. If you're new here, I'm Chris, and if you like films that mattered before the algorithm learned to write scripts, well, you're in the right place.
I thought this was a nude beach.
So today we're cracking open the toy box of the 1998 cult classic that turned a peaceful suburb into a war zone. This is the movie that slapped military-grade AI into action figures and let them cook. At the time, critics were confused and parents were pretty pissed, but watching it now in a world run by AI, I think it just hits different. So is Small Soldiers a misunderstood stroke of genius, or is it just a clunky piece of 90s plastic? Let's dig into how this movie got made, why it was dedicated to the legendary Phil Hartman, and answer the ultimate question: does it hold up? Stick around because things are about to get weird.
I'm gonna get real weird with it. Meanwhile, block the wind, I'm gonna roast this bone.
Let's kick things off with the big question: has Small Soldiers left any real mark on pop culture, or is it just a forgotten toy in the bargain bin? Look, back in the day, it didn't exactly blow up like Toy Story, but it's got this sneaky legacy. Fans still quote lines like,
"Halt, who goes there?"
And it's popped up in talks about everything from killer robots to that creepy Megan vibe. It's like the scrappy underdog that influenced how we think about smart tech gone wrong. Think about it. Toys with military chips, that's basically our smart home devices plotting revenge.
Play ticker.
You want to hear a station for porn detected. Porno ringtone, hot chick amateur girl calling sexy.
No! And what's its impact? Well, it showed us that kids' movies could get dark and satirical without totally losing the fun, even if they flew a bit under the radar. If nothing else, it's a time machine to when practical effects and early CGI mixed in the weirdest ways. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Alright, so let's crack open a dusty time capsule from 1998. Man, what a year that was. We're talking about the height of the Clinton scandal blowing up everywhere, the Spice Girls dominating the charts with Viva Forever, and Pokemon just starting to take over kids' lives. Movie-wise, it was pretty stacked. Armageddon was exploding at the box office. See what I did there?
I don't like it, but I understand.
With Bruce Willis saving the world from asteroids, Lethal Weapon 4 had Mel Gibson and Danny Glover back for more buddy cop chaos.
We're not too old for this shit.
And don't forget Saving Private Ryan dropping that intense D-Day scene that changed war movies forever. Pop culture was all about that mix of blockbuster action and feel-good vibes, with stuff like Titanic still riding high from the year before. And then Small Soldiers comes along and slides right into that summer slot on July 10th, trying to grab families looking for something fun, but a little edgy. Now critics back then. The critics. Well, they were split like a toy soldier under a kid's boot. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's still sitting at a 52% from 52 reviews with an average score of 6.1 out of 10. In other words, it's basically a meh from the pros. Legendary film critic Roger Ebert gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars, saying the concept was really cool and the effects were top notch, but it really bugged him that this was sold as a family flick while being super violent. Like toys thinking for themselves and going full murder mode could scare the crap out of little kids.
Okay, I guess what we've identified is that older folks and younger children skip it.
Siskel and Ebert straight gave it 2 thumbs down on their show, calling it out for trying to be Gremlins, but not as dark or funny. Fast forward to today, though, and fans are way kinder. On Reddit threads, people rave about it holding up shockingly well, with comments like, a super fun movie with a great cast and CGI that doesn't look that bad even now. Audiences polled by CinemaScore back in '98 gave it a B+, so regular folks really dug it more than critics did. It's almost like the movie kinda grew on people, millennials especially. I'm in the same boat. We tend to remember it as this batshit wild ride that was maybe too intense for its PG-13 rating, but that's what I think makes it so memorable. As for the box office tale, well, it was no blockbuster smash, but it wasn't a total disaster either. Made on a $40 million budget, it pulled in $55.1 million in the US and Canada, plus $16.6 million overseas for a worldwide total of $71.8 million. It opened strong with $14 million in third place behind Armageddon and Lethal Weapon 2004, but it kind of fizzled out over the summer. Think of it as the plucky contender that got overshadowed by bigger explosions. DreamWorks tried. They marketed the hell out of it with Burger King toys, but that PG-13 rating pissed off fast food folks who thought it'd be a lot kid-friendlier. It underperformed expectations, especially coming off Toy Story's hype, but hey, it turned a profit and built a cult following. Not a cultural phenomenon, but definitely not a flop that vanished. So, diving deeper into what makes this movie tick without spoiling the whole plot, because if you're watching this video, I'm betting you've seen it. Let's treat this like pulling out key exhibits from a museum of 90s chaos. First off, we have Exhibit A, the linchpin scene that nails the film's whole vibe. I'm gonna go with that insane backyard battle where the commando elite turn everyday junk into weapons. It's pure plastic carnage shot by shot. The camera swoops low as Chip Hazard rallies his troops with that Tommy Lee Jones growl, score blasting like a war drum. Then bam, toys start launching flaming tennis balls and rigging up homemade catapults. The cinematography mixes quick cuts with wide shots of the suburban destruction. It captures the theme of tech run awry. The tone's a hilarious mix of horror and comedy, and it's brilliant because it flips kids' toys into that satirical take on military overkill. And it really is no wonder that it feels like Gremlins on steroids. Joe Dante directed both, and this scene is where his bold imagination really shines, turning a backyard into a battlefield. And then we have Exhibit B, standout performance. I gotta shout out Phil Hartman as the clueless neighbor Phil Thimple. It's low-key great and heartbreaking because this was his final film role before he was tragically murdered just 2 months before the premiere on May 28, 1998. The movie's dedicated to him. Hartman steals scenes playing this doofus dad who is all bluster but totally outmatched by killer toys. His timing's perfect, blending dumb humor with real heart. And it's a reminder of why he was comedy gold on SNL and The Simpsons. And the cast overall stacked. Kirsten Dunst as the tough girl next door, Gregory Smith as the kid caught in the middle, and voices from legends like Tommy Lee Jones as Chip Hazard, and Frank Langella as Archer. Even cameos from Spinal Tap folks as the Gorgonites add a little bit of flavor. Exhibit C, the unsung hero. Hands down in my book, Joe Dante himself. This dude really solidified his rep as one of the boldest directors of the era. His imagination knew no bounds, taking big swings even if he sometimes missed. He directed Gremlins, and Small Soldiers feels like an updated version that had a baby with Toy Story. Following that Gremlins formula beat for beat, cute critters turned chaotic, leading to a wild ending full of destruction. I think Dante's overlooked big time, but he made movies into wild events. He originally aimed for an edgier teen flick, but studio tie-in softened it. Still, you feel his satirical edge poking through, like critiquing war toys and corporate greed. Okay, so verdict time. Does this hold up as a rewatch in 2025? First, the rose-tinted glasses check. So I adored this as a kid. I was about 13 years old at the time when it came out. Popping it in now, you can't help but notice the dated bits, like some CGI that looks clunky next to today's stuff. Though the practical puppets from Stan Winston have this retro charm, and they still work better than ever. The dialogue can feel a bit stale in spots, and yeah, of course the ending's a bit cliche with the big showdown, but damn, it's got genuinely funny moments like the Gwendy Doll's Psycho to Spice Girls tune. Psychological warfare at its finest. So would I say it's aged like wine or an avocado? Mostly wine. I think it's more entertaining today than it was back then, especially with the premise hitting extra hard now with AI taking over everything. Toys with military chips? Well, that's our world now. From smart assistants to drone wars. And I think the effects hold up with charm, not distraction, and the satire really does feel timely. So who would I say this is for today? Well, it's a perfect nostalgia trip for us millennials who grew up on it, and a must-watch for film buffs digging 90s effects innovation. And honestly, I think anyone can really enjoy it as a fun, chaotic ride. It's not flawless, but way better than its mixed reception back then. I think critics missed the point, but fans totally get it now. So how would I rank it on a scale? Well, I'd say it's fun but flawed. On a modern scale, I'd slap it with a 7 out of 10. Solid entertainment that really swings big. So as I usually do with these videos, let's unlock the vault for some behind the scenes gold. So Tommy Lee Jones was a slam dunk for Chip Hazard. It's his only voice role ever, and I always try to imagine him in the booth barking orders. Kirsten Dunst was fresh off Interview with the Vampire and Jumanji, but who knows who else auditioned. Dante pulled in some heavy hitters like the Dirty Dozen voices for the soldiers, including Bruce Dern and Ernest Borgnine. As for some on-set stories, well, Dante said the studio flipped the script mid-production. This started as an edgy teen movie, but toy tie-ins forced them to tone down the explosions and action. They even cut a huge house explosion from the end because they thought it was way too intense. And Burger King got pissed about the PG-13 rating after sinking cash into kids' meals toys. And get this, there was even a lawsuit in 2000 from a filmmaker claiming Spielberg and crew ripped off his short film Ode to G.I. Joe for the idea. One thing I love about this movie is that there's Easter eggs everywhere. Dante packed in nods to old war movies like Chip's lines being total cliches from classics. Spot the foreshadowing when the toys first activate. It's subtle hints at the AI chaos. Even the Gorgonites designs have this mythical vibe that ties into their hide-and-seek programming. Diehards might miss that the effects were a mix, puppets for close-ups, CGI for big action, which was truly groundbreaking for 1998. So wrapping this up, Small Soldier's lasting legacy is proof that bold ideas, even if they miss sometimes, make for truly unforgettable rides. Joe Dante took toys and turned them into a mirror for our tech-obsessed world, and it's more relevant now than ever with AI just everywhere. I think it's just a wild, overlooked gem. Small Soldiers isn't just some dusty relic from the back of your closet. It's a prophecy in plastic. A batshit crazy look at AI running wild that feels less like 90s movie and more like our Tuesday afternoon in 2025. It's a testament to Joe Dante's wild-eyed genius and a reminder that sometimes the weirdest, most chaotic movies are the ones that stick with us the longest. It's fun, it's flawed, and it was way ahead of its time. But I really want to know what you think. Is this movie a cult classic that deserves a modern sequel, or is it the perfect 90s time capsule that should never be touched? I'm leaning the latter. Sound off in the comments, smack the like button if you had fun, and subscribe so you don't miss what we dive into next. As always, the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, but what do I know? I'm but a mere jackass. I'll try to do better next time. Catch you later, friends.
I'm just a jackass of all trades, don't know shit. I'll keep on talking, acting like I'm so legit. From politics to sports, I'll spout